outside, because we don't diagnose this stuff in the inside. This stuff in this book does not get diagnosed by the school psychologist in the school. But if you go to the psychologist down the street or at the community hospital or the mental health center and he diagnoses your child with ADHD, you bring that report to the school. If that ADHD is affecting how well the child does in school, now he can be evaluated by the school psychologist and classified as a kid with a health impairment. OHI, other health impairment. For ADHD, it could be for epilepsy, it could be for diabetes, it could be for any medical problem that adversely affects educational performance. Are you with me? Okay? So the question becomes, why do we have so many kids in special ed for ADHD? Because we got parents who don't know how to keep their mouth shut and stop telling the school everything that goes on in your child's life. Because anything you tell the school can and will be used against your son. You stay running to the school and they use it against you. And guess what happens? If your son is taking psychotropic meds and you decide you don't want to give him the meds no more because you found out how dangerous it is, and I'm going to read some of the side effects in a minute on these drugs, because you're not going to believe me, so I'm going to tell you what the white folks say about their own drugs, okay? And you say, well, I don't want to give that substance to my son no more. And the school finds out that you stopped giving him the drug. Now keep in mind, the school didn't even have a right to know you was giving him the drug in the first place. You told them that. Your big mouth. Okay? So now you decide you don't want him taking the drug no more. They find out, they call Child Protective Services. And Child Protective Services can take your child for you not giving them medicine. You know what they call it? Medical neglect. I know kids in foster care right now because black parents said, I'm not giving my son that medicine no more. It's messing his head up. It's messing the way he thinks up. And they took the babies out the house. The only way the government can take possession of your child is if you allow the government to be a part of the raising of your child. Are y'all with me? The minute you go asking a white psychologist, what's wrong with my son, you done made a damn mistake right there. Because a white man don't know what's wrong with your son. Nor does he care. Only thing you're going to do is give him a drug. You do the same thing in the school. You come into the school and ask the white principal, does my son have a learning disability? What the hell are you asking him that for? He ain't black. But because you asked him. Yes, he does. I'm going to hit him with one of these 5. These are the big black 5 over here. Most black kids in special ed are in for one of these 5. That's right. They either retarded, misdiagnosed, emotionally disturbed, misdiagnosed, specific learning disability, misdiagnosed, or other health impairment, misdiagnosed. Now while we at it, let me read you the criteria for ADHD. Coming straight out the book. If you're a parent, you need to own one of these books. It's the DSM-4-TR. You cannot afford to be without it if you have a black son.
DS what?
He gonna write it.
DSM-IB, number 4, -TR. DSM-4-TR. Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. 4th edition text revision. They all look just like this. Silver with blue letters, and look for the racists on the back.
They still easy to get.
You can get this off Amazon. Used copy, $7.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. They sell them in Borders, Barnes & Noble. Anybody can get it. You need to have it. Because you got to educate yourself. Because the next time somebody come telling you your son got ADHD, you're going to open up the book and you will say, okay, let me quiz you. Because last time I checked, I thought you was a school teacher. But since you want to be a psychiatrist, can you tell me what the criteria are? They don't know. The problem is ADHD is so sensationalized and all over the TV and the radio that everybody think they got a right to diagnose it. But legally, the only people who can diagnose this is a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a social worker or a licensed professional counselor. If you're not trained in mental health, you can't diagnose ADHD. But guess what? If you're going to let the principal tell you your child got a psychiatric condition, that's on you. If you're going to let your child's teacher tell you that your child got a psychiatric condition, that's on you. If you're going to let somebody who's trained to educate tell you how to medicate, that's on you. See that? You got to take control over your child and stop letting the teacher tell you that your son needs medicine. That's absolutely ridiculous. But we let people do it to us every day. You need to go see the psychiatrist. Is this a hospital or a school? I seems to forget. Last time I checked, only 1 out of every 4 black boys gets a high school diploma in this country. So why don't you stop medicating and start educating? Because there's no research to show that putting a boy on drugs increases his likelihood of getting a diploma. They only want to sedate him and keep him quiet long enough to get rid of him. That's what this is about. They don't want nothing to do with your kids. That's why they throw them in special ed, or they put them on drugs, or they kick him out and send him to discipline school. Are you with me? Yes. That's right. Getting rid of them, one way or the other. So mental retardation. This is a kid with an IQ that is beneath 70. Okay, IQ got to be below 70 for mentally retarded. They also have to have an impairment in adaptive behavior. Adaptive behavior is how well a child adapts in different environments and circumstances as well as other kids their age. In other words, even if your son has an IQ score below 70, I cannot classify him as retarded unless I see proof that he cannot adjust in school and in other places as well as other kids his age. That got me? I got to see a difference between that 7-year-old and all the other 7-year-olds. If the IQ score is low and I have no other proof, I can't diagnose. Why? Because all IQ tests are racially biased. So you can't use the score alone because it's racially biased. If you could use the score alone, there'd be a lot of people looking like they're retarded. So because the government realized that all these tests were founded by white racist psychologists, they say that you got to have more proof than just an IQ score. And I can tell you every year I find about a dozen black kids diagnosed retarded who never were retarded. That's right. They call it mild mental retardation. And whenever you see the word mild, that automatically should throw up a sign in your head because mild means what? They might not have it at all. Are y'all with me? I'm serious.
Yeah.
If they say mild, your first question is, how do we know this just is not a slow learning kid? What's the difference between a slow learner and mild mental retardation? Somebody's opinion.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Somebody's opinion. These 5 labels right here are socially constructed. Socially constructed. That means it is made up. And because it is made up, there's a high likelihood that kids are often misdiagnosed. Are there kids with learning disabilities? Sure. Are there black kids who are retarded? Sure. Are there black kids with autism? Sure. That's not our issue. Our issue is the socially constructed definition is so broad that every black child is at risk for falling in one of those. Are y'all with me?
Yes, sir.
We ain't saying it don't exist. We saying that if you look at every black child in special ed, half of them don't belong in there. The number one reason why they're in there is because of this diagnosis. This is my diagnosis. ABT, they ain't been to hell taught. Did you hear what I just said?
Sure.
From kindergarten to 3rd grade, black kids are miseducated. And 4th grade through 7th grade, they special educated. 7th through 9th grade, they are medicated. 10th through 12th. Dropped out, which is incarcerated.
Okay.
You see the steps?
Yeah.
Look, here's the question. If the black boys start getting referred to special ed primarily in the 4th, they do it younger. Because I'm going to tell you now, I get phone calls to test kindergartens. Wow. Damn. You think he got a learning disability at 6?
Wow.
Yes.
He just started learning.
Yes, he just started learning. But they want him in special ed in kindergarten. They want him in special ed in the 1st grade. Get him out my class. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. But I'm going to blame y'all. Because guess what? When they call you to come sign the permission to evaluate for the psychologist to test, y'all go run into the school. Where do you want me to sign?
Yes.
Where do you want me to sign?
Yes.
And y'all signing y'all kid whole life away.
Yes.
Where you want me to sign? And then you call me and I say, what you signing for? They asked me to. So you do anything a white person asks you to do? Is that where we at now in the hood? I know we punch drunk with white folks, but damn, you gotta wake up once in a while. They do the same thing with the drugs. Same thing with the drug. We think you need to take them to the psychiatrist. Okay. Psychiatrists give you a script. Go fill it. Okay.
That's right.
Pharmacists tell you get this to your child morning, afternoon, lunch. Okay. And now he walking in your room in the middle of the night with a knife in his hand talking about some mom. I see stuff flying around in my bedroom. See that? Yes. 25% of the violence in the black community can be traced to the use of psychotropic drugs with our youth. Did you hear that? I'm not talking about the illegal street drugs. I'm talking about the legal brain drugs. Do you know that they lead to schizophrenic thoughts, homicidal thoughts, suicidal thoughts? The white folks got a whole movement against brain drugs for their kids.
That's right.
That's right. White kids who have committed suicide and homicide while taking Paxil, while taking Zoloft, while taking Lexapro. These are antidepressants that's supposed to reduce the likelihood of suicide, but is increasing the likelihood of suicide. It's called little white demons in a jar. Emotional disturbance, don't you ever let nobody put that on your child. That's a child who cannot build or maintain relationships with teachers or peers. What you got? Emotional support, learning support? What you teach? What do you teach? Which support? Learning support, emotional support?
All of them.
You do them all primarily?
I mean, my caseload has LD, AU, not so much the BED anymore, but the IDYs and the AUs and LDs and OHIs, probably more OHIs than anything else.
More OHIs, so more than ADHD kids then.
What's OHI?
Other health impairment.
Oh, okay.
That's if you got an outside medical condition,
No.
okay, and somebody feels you need special ed because of it. To me, putting a child in special ed because they was diagnosed with ADHD by an outside psychologist is a crime. Why am I receiving an inferior education just because my mother took me to a psychiatrist outside? What that got to do with my ability to learn? What does it have to do with my ability to learn? Now let's look into the criteria for ADHD. Listen to it. Often fails to give close attention to detail, has difficulty sustaining attention, does not listen when spoken to directly, does not follow through on instructions and fails to finish schoolwork, difficulty organizing tasks, avoids, dislikes, or is reluctant to engage in tasks that require sustained mental effort, loses things necessary for tasks to be completed, easily distracted, forgetful.
That's most adults.
I remember that. Everybody on earth can meet the criteria for ADHD. See? That's why I'm reading it to you, because I want you to see how they hoodwinking the whole damn black community. See that? Look at that. Who don't meet that criteria for this? Especially a child. That's why every other boy is diagnosed with it. You go into a classroom, you say, who in here take drugs? Half the hands go up. Half the hands go up. One thing you got to understand about white racism is every institution works together to destroy the family. The social services works. The medical doctor works. The school district works. The psychiatrist works. And we got to recognize this. You should not be giving your children these medicines. Now, again, emotional disturbance, don't let your child get diagnosed with that. Okay? That's like a pre-prison label. This is where they put the bad kids, the ones who fight, they get emotional support. Okay? If you ever been into the average emotional support classroom, and I'm sure this ain't the sister's classroom, but it already looks like a prison. They already acting like prisoners. There's no control. There's one teacher in there, maybe an aide or an assistant, a couple TSS workers, but nobody's learning nothing. The whole focus is on doing what? Keeping them from doing something dangerous so they don't hurt themselves or hurt somebody else. Kids who I do reevaluations for, everybody in special ed got to get reevaluated every 3 years at least. Mentally retarded kids every 2 years at least. Guess who have the lowest academic levels when I do my reevals? The emotional support kids, because they ain't learned nothing. The whole thing is about sitting still and obeying orders. In fact, the whole goal of public education is to do what? Domesticate the Negro boy. That's the whole goal of public education. To domesticate, to take his spirit. That's the whole purpose of public education. Black boys might not learn anything while they're in school, but they learn that the world is run by white people and there ain't a damn thing they can do about it. That's one thing they learn. If you don't believe me, ask them. They say, Mr. Johnson, I don't know how to write my name. I don't know none of that. But I know one thing. These white people are in control, and not even my parents could do anything about it, and that is all they want them to know before they kick them on out. Why is that most black kids drop out in the 9th grade? Because by the time you get to the 9th grade, if you ain't mastered your academics, there ain't too many people in a high school who's really looking to help you out. By the time you get to high school is like college. Everybody for himself. And so when a lot of our boys finally get to the 9th grade, they say, damn, I can't read, right? And there's nobody in here who even look like they can. So why keep coming?
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a dropout rate in America. There's only a push-out rate. They push our kids out of the damn school. I'm telling you because I work in the school. I'm telling you because I work in the school. And black educators, not all of them, many of them are just as guilty as the white ones. Yes. Just as guilty as the white ones. Most of the people I fight with